On Sunday, October 14th, we have another opportunity to set out on a journey with Job. Just to look backward, and it's always good for the minister who's preaching a series on a particular passage to look backward as well as forward. Job has lost everything. Power, wealth, children, status, place in society. His friends even believe he's morally bankrupt because, after all, in their theology, if you're suffering, you must have done something wrong. You know, Jesus addressed that in the Gospels when he was once asked who sinned, this man or his parents, that he was born blind. Well, Job's world has collapsed. And yet he's still faithful. He's still calling out to God. He's still at prayer. He indeed wants to hear an answer. But in the lectionary reading for October 14th, all Job receives is silence. As Martin Marty says in one of his books, he receives a cry of absence. Where is God? C.S. Lewis once said that when everything's going well, that's when God shows up. But when the times are hard, and he talks about this in his book, A Grief Observed, when the times are hard, you go to look out for God and look for God, and the door is closed. Job wants the door to be opened. He's not even sure what answer he's going to get, but he wants God to respond. As I read these words from Job, I was reminded of Elie Wiesel's book, Night. In that book, a young man is hung on a gallows. It's Auschwitz. He's hung on a gallows, and he's trying to survive as best he can. He's trying to live, knowing, of course, that he will die. And somebody in the crowd asks the question, where is God? And another voice cries out, God's on the gallows. Now, Elie Wiesel doesn't tell us exactly how he interprets that passage. It could mean God is dead or dying. It could also mean that God is with us in our suffering. Dietrich Bonhoeffer, who died in a German concentration camp, once noted that only a suffering God can help. Only a suffering God can help. And at the very least, Job is looking for God to be his companion. He doubts everything he once believed, but his doubt is a form of piety. As I said last time, the book of Job is a type of theological Lysol that's helping us get rid of the bad theology around suffering. And the book of Job opens us to ask questions of ourselves, questions of our theology, questions of God. Madeleine Engel tells of giving a speech at a Christian college. And after she completed her speech, a young student raised her hand and said, do you believe in God without any doubt? And Madeleine Engel, the author, responded, I believe in God with all my doubts. I believe in God with all my doubts. So if in the course of reading Job, if you're a preacher, or listening to the story of Job, if you're a congregant, you begin to have doubts about the theology that you've held all your life, especially a theology that assumes people of faith are protected from the slings and arrows of fate, or that the good prosper and the bad suffer, or that those poor people or sick people must have done something wrong. If you begin to doubt that, perhaps that's good news. For all his troubles, Job is a laudable character. He stays with God, even when God seems absent. And the word of the day is to keep asking questions. to keep crying out, to seek God even when God seems absent. And then perhaps from the point of view of ethics, the word of the day from Job is, don't judge other people's doubts. Don't judge when somebody's losing the faith they once had. They may be discovering a new and better faith. So let us continue our journey with Job.